Kinetics, which is just a fancy word for action. It's not really even technically a fancy word for action, but I'm calling it a fancy word for action. But it's just putting in motion. This is movement, right? And what we mean by movement, this is the very little working out and eating healthy. You have to work out and you have to eat healthy. I hope that you know that. That's probably why you're here. We've already probably discussed it a little bit, but I want to get into the kind of mental attitude about it. So, diet, we're tracking it, right? Hopefully, you better be, because it's part of the program. And if you're not doing it, you're not going to pass. Say pass loosely. This is not like your life is over if you don't pass this. But yes, part of your assignment, part of this program right now is that you have to track your food for at least 28 days straight. Why are we doing that? Because it's an action that builds a habit. You have to build good habits. You build good habits, you're gonna do them all the time, or at least most of the time to where they work, and it doesn't matter when the few times you don't because you do them so often that they're a normal habit. We have to build those habits. Building habits happens by repetitiveness. I know, it's boring, but it's simple and it works. So, tracking food. You have your food, you know how many calories you're supposed to eat, you know what your macros are supposed to be, you've even got some recipes and some foods that you could do if you don't want to go think about it, right? Do it. You have to do it. It doesn't matter how mentally and how pumped you are to do it and how much you think about you're gonna do it, you have to still do it. You have to actually eat those foods, you actually have to track it, and you actually have to make sure you stay inside of your limits, right? You have to still do it. You still have to go to the gym. And you can't just go to the gym, right? You gotta do the workouts the way they're written. They're written in a very specific way because they are written to work with your body the way it works. I want you to see results, so I made workouts that are designed to get results. But that includes the efforts you put into them. So if I say you have to take 2 minutes rest, I know you've already heard this, it should take you 2 minute rest. Not because you're sitting around for 2 minutes, but because you worked so hard with what I gave you that you need those 2 minutes. And that type of effort is going to get you the results. So when we talk about kinetics, we're just talking about actually putting all these things in actions, not just thinking about them, not just doing them, but going and doing them, because that repetitiveness of doing the action builds all these good habits, and all these good habits are what make this a new lifestyle. So within this program, maybe you stay on, maybe you don't, it doesn't matter, but you have built these amazingly great habits through these actions, through these kinetics of going to the gym, tracking your food, fixing up your new relationships, all of that. By doing that, you have put into action things. You don't just thought about, you just watch these videos, right? Are you just watching these videos and then you forget about them 5 minutes later? You're not doing kinetics. Kinetics is where I give you all this information, I give these ways of thinking, and you take them and you apply them. Kinetics is application. You have to apply all the things we're talking about. You have to go do the workouts the way they're written, with the intent to do them the way that they're written. If I says go all out, you have to go all out, right? So, kinetics is the simplest version of all these things. You don't really have to learn anything other than that. You have to take all these things that we're teaching you and apply them. There has to be action and it has to be repeatable so that you build good habits. And that can be true of anything. In our case, it's tracking food and getting to the gym and tracking our results and our weight. But in real life, it could be something else. It could be tracking your KPIs at work, and if that's a word that you don't know, don't worry about it. I've been in grad school way too long, I'm learning too many words, you just ignore that. But you get the idea. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You have to take action and it has to be repeatable so it builds results and builds good habits.